Dude, what does mine say? Sweet. What about mine? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet. What about mine? Dude, what does...
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you wherever you are, because it is for September 24th, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns, sitting right over there. I have not yet convinced him to take his shirt off, but the morning is young. Say hi to Blaine Gibson, everybody.
Hello, hello. Wow. I'm here.
Blaine Gibson, my favorite intern of all time.
I was like, go on.
You told me something today which kind of freaked me out a little bit, which was
that?
like, you were naked in a short. How quickly?
That was my first short. So that was like I had just gotten the part-time offer because I was still in college. And it was just immediately one of the best days of my life. I was like riding so high, dude. It was the best. I was like, yeah, I'll take all the clothes off. I'll work clothes-less. It's fine.
Oh, I found that short, by the way. You were asking if it still exists. I went and looked online. It was the package delivery.
Yeah, the Amazon. It was like a parody because Amazon had come up with that concept thing for the drone delivery stuff.
Isn't that crazy? And how long ago was that? Like 2013.
Literally, yeah, it was like over 10 years ago.
And now still no drones.
No, where the hell are the drones?
Delivering packages and stuff like that. So, Blaine, we worked together for about 10 years.
That's right.
And always had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, it's really funny that now that it's been revealed why we're all together, that Gavin and Meg got married at this incredibly fancy event.
That's
that
right.
You and I would be the two people on mic immediately after that's been revealed.
Hey, man, the embargo's been lifted, and there are no two better people to talk about the details of this wedding than Bernie Burns and Blaine Gibson.
Here's how I think about it. I think about it like it's like two apes escaped from the zoo and ran through the Guggenheim, and then you're gonna sit down and go like, what was it like, the Guggenheim? And he's like, oop, oop, oop. We are not the people to be talking about this incredibly fancy, wonderful event.
I disagree. I think Meg would love to have our perspective on their wedding live on air. No, it was magical. It was amazing. Yeah.
Here's the overall that I can say about it.
Yeah.
Imagine, if you can, to the audience here, I'm going to paint a picture for you. Imagine an incredibly wonderful, fancy wedding held in a gorgeous countryside estate. Now imagine that. Now imagine an incredibly fancy, wonderful wedding held at a countryside, glorious estate that's planned by Meg Turney, a person who's had an incredibly successful career just making aesthetic projects, right? Yeah. This thing was incredible.
It was
absolutely
impeccable.
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it was like in a castle. Would that be considered a castle?
Yes, it would be.
Hansel House or something? I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know if we should say the name. Might have to bleep it. I don't know, but I feel weird about saying the actual name of the place.
Well, I will say that on the photos of the event in the photo booth, it has the name of the thing listed.
Okay, great.
So I think that they're okay with that at least.
I think it was Hedser House.
Hedser House.
Yeah, so it was like a estate, I would say, like an estate house and that kind of thing. But yes, it would be classified in the UK probably as a castle.
It was cool because whenever you go to the bathroom, which I did several times throughout the event, in the men's restroom, they had movie posters for all of the different things that had been shot at that location, which is really cool. But
so right off the bat, we're talking about the wedding. You're like, so the bathroom.
Yeah, I noticed when I was taking a big dump that.
Anyways, like, I feel like if we talk about this, you and I are just going to talk about all the food.
Yeah.
The food in the bathroom.
Did you try those mini cheeseburgers?
Dude, I here's where I got stuck. Bro, we should be like our high society review of the event of the season. Bro, here's the deal. Those fucking tuna hors d'oeuvres.
Fire.
They even brought them around. Like, you were only supposed to take one. You could take 5. They couldn't stop you. Those things were so good. They were so good. And we're just sitting out there looking at, like, the meadow, after the ceremony. Did you catch, by the way, that so when Gavin and Meg got married, there's a couple things. I was not emotionally prepared for many of these moments. And I'm afraid I'm going to show up in the background of some goddamn photo, like, bawling my eyes out.
Well, I sat behind you and I could see your shoulders were like actively heaving, and all of the women around you, Ashley, Barbara, were like placing hands on you. Like, you were deeply. I'm getting a little watered up thinking about it. It was a beautiful ceremony.
I saw Gav come out. He looked incredibly handsome. Had this like really fashionable like blue tux with like beige.
Yeah. Who was he wearing?
I have no come on, dude, bro. What was it?
Bro. Express?
Bro, did he go to Nordstrom? But yeah, he came out, and then what I really was not prepared for was through some like travel stuff and everything. It worked out that Jeff had to walk Meg down the aisle because it was like a travel snafu. And so, it's a destination wedding essentially even for me. I live in the country, but I had to 9 hours away.
Yeah.
But no one said that was going to happen. And then Jeff's walking Meg down the aisle, and that was like, yeah, I was gone. Yeah.
No, it was a beautiful ceremony.
But it was like we were in like this gorgeous, like hard to describe, but like this area that had like an upper balcony that went all the way around.
Yeah.
And even Dan Grucci of Slow Mo Guys was saying it's like he was getting like Game of Thrones vibes from it.
Yeah.
And then they played
the Red Wedding,
the Red Rains of Castamere.
Yeah.
the string quartet,
which
they had a string quartet, bro.
That string quartet was popping off, dog. It was fire. No, they were like right above us, but I remember they started playing that, and we talked to Meg after the fact, and she was like, "Yeah, I thought it'd be like a cute little thing if we played the Red Wedding thing." I didn't think anybody noticed. As soon as that happened, we were all like looking around, like, "What's gonna happen?"
It was like nobody said anything. But I guess she planned this, and like everybody immediately picked up on it.
Yeah,
and there was like looking in the balcony.
Yeah, they served food on like the largest table I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
like they had like seat designations for all the different people, and I was like, oh, okay, table 6, and then we go in there, and it's just like this, like, I don't know, royalty thing where it's just this huge.
I've never seen a table that big in my life.
Yeah,
and
it was
awesome. It was like what I guess what you would call a centerpiece, but it was just an incredible, like, I'm sure people can see it photos, like this incredible arrangement of flowers.
Yeah.
Like down the entire length of this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you played football. Like what do you think that was? Like 50 yards, it felt like, of table?
Yeah. You a couple of first downs to get down to that thing.
You have to run a 2-minute drill to go get a drink. But yeah, it was just incredible. And the location was amazing. It was great to see everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody looked amazing. All the ladies looked awesome.
Yeah.
Becca was here last week. She was staying with us, and Nick Saldana. We'll be playing some music
weather.
for him. Yeah, sorry. We actually had you and I were going to go shooting today, and it got canceled because of rain. That's a bummer.
You let me do some archery stuff though, so I got to get my Kyborg out, and that was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I was showing you how to use a bow, and I'm like, why am I showing Kyborg?
Yeah. Well, I woke up this morning, I had just like black bruise on my forearm because I was just snapping myself, but great time.
Yeah. So for those of you who are not maybe in the know, Blaine, I worked with him for a long time, and I would say post Rooster Teeth, you guys have the huge like breakout hit with Stinky Dragon, but you've been doing it since 2019. Is that right?
No, I think it was like, oh God, it was like a pandemic thing. We started out with RTD&D, and that was just like as a way of just filling content gap while we were in lockdown. And I don't think we started in earnest until it was like 2022, maybe.
Oh yeah, what am I doing? I'm doing my math backwards there. So it was because I would have been there in 2019. I would have been wrapping up, and you guys started like 2 years after I left. My math was off on that.
No, you're good.
What I remember was you say the RTD&D thing.
Yeah.
I remember you guys doing like the shorts where you did like D&D in real life, and you were doing TikTok stuff.
Yeah.
And I know there was like a big kind of like anti-TikTok movement in general. You know, like we weren't.
Because China,
Well, you weren't like Rooster Teeth wasn't supposed to be doing that stuff, even though it's like we're supposed to keep up with the times,
Yeah.
And then that pivoted into this thing, and it just absolutely exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the TikTok stuff, that was also part of another group that we had done that has gone away. It was called Squad Team Force. And I remember the early days of planning that. That was like my old man moment because we were talking about TikTok and we weren't going to do YouTube stuff. And I was like, well, we got to do YouTube. Like everybody's on YouTube. I was like, that's like my search engine for videos. And Gus was like, yeah, but Blaine, you're old. That's not how it is anymore.
Dude,
and I was like,
when Gus tells you that, how do you feel?
I had another moment with him the other day, and I realized that when I met Gus, I am the age that Gus was when I met him.
Oh, don't tell yourself that. You don't need to do that to yourself.
I kind of spiraled for a bit after that.
Also, Gus you might have broken his record for being shirtless. Like you were, first week, he was first month.
Yeah.
We got him out of his clothes as fast as we could, too.
We were talking to him the other day, and he's apparently he has a blade tattoo on the back of his neck.
That's so funny. Based on the drop from today, that's really funny. because we did the dude, where's my car? They get the tattoos on the back of their neck, essentially.
Dude, where's my... Yeah.
So go ahead. What do you know about this blade tattoo?
Well, I mean, we brought it up, and I didn't realize that that's what it was. And he was like, "You've never seen that tattoo? I've known you for 10 years." And it's like, no, Gus, I've seen every square inch of your body. I just didn't get the blade reference, my guy. Like, yeah, but yeah.
You know, do you know the other part of that story?
No.
He has a matching tattoo with Ramsey. They went out together and got matching tattoos. Jeff also has in the same place a blade tattoo.
That's so cute. Good for them.
Jeff's is lost in the overall mural,
Yes.
of his body art. But yeah, they went out and got matching tattoos,
Yeah.
which I appreciated because that was something I could make fun of them for years.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Your two friends have matching.
We-
tattoos.
You mentioned Dan Grucci earlier. I have a bone to pick with him because we went out. My lovely girlfriend Kristen's here, and there's a bunch of Rooster Teeth people that came out for the wedding. We were kind of hanging out with Barbara and Trevor. Barbara's been on the show, and then
Can I say, by the way,
yeah.
like when we go to a formal event, we got to stop inviting them. Like, because are there any two people who look more suited, no pun intended, for a formal event than those two?
It is frustrating how like attractive they are.
I think Ashley, when she saw them, like we had gotten ready, I had tux. Ashley had her dress and everything. She had a fascinator, which is like a talk about that in a second. But she had it's like a
Cool
fancy hat. We had went through all this stuff. We did everything. She saw Barb and Trevor, and she just immediately, reflexively goes, "Shut up."
yeah.
It's like it looks like they just like stepped out of the packaging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the best way I can describe
They
it.
still have the twisty ties around their wrists from holding them into the shrink wrap plastic stuff.
Is his hair? Is it human hair? Like, what? Have you ever seen Trevor with a hair out of place?
He did a bald cap one time, and it
right, for
looked
the egg.
so unnatural. But he's still just like a really handsome guy.
He has like Superman hair.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Perfect
It's
hairline too.
Perfect.
Everything is just in
Perfect.
place. I don't think I've seen him in a bad hairdo. I remember like, it's locked down. Don't look at me. I'm horrible. And it's like, you're gorgeous. I'm in love.
What's going on with you two? Yeah, so they're not invited to anything anymore.
No, of course not. But it was them and then Joe Lee, formerly Dog Bark, and his partner Destiny. We all found like a tattoo shop. So
I like that kid a lot, by the way.
Joe's great.
He's a
Joe's
nice
a great dude. We all went out, found this tattoo place in a place called High Wycombe, that's outside of London. And the guys went to some mall, but Dan found that out, and he's like, High Wycombe. And he just like proceeded to just dump on us, and he sounded so posh. And I was like,
By the way, that is a perfect Dan Grucci impression, by the way. That was uncanny. Do you work on that? That was really impressive.
I just noticed that everything ends up in here. I again, going back to the wedding, I walked in and there was a guy going to the bathroom, and they sound different because he was going like, huh? Like his grunt was different. Anyways, the wedding was beautiful.
He's gonna get so mad. We keep talking about the bathroom at the wedding. What's wrong with you?
It's a great bathroom.
So these, by the way, her dress, of course, amazing. She looked incredible. I think she did like 6 changes. We tried to keep count.
Yeah.
Like she did 6 changes over the course of the evening.
She was like
which
a Pokemon.
awesome.
And she kept evolving. And yeah, by the end of the night, she was in this like cute little like bride like tracksuit thing.
Yeah, it was like a tracksuit.
Which I felt terrible because the only photo that I got with him was her in the tracksuit, and it's like it doesn't.
It's a dope ass. It was all white.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
She's still gorgeous, but I was like, I don't want people thinking she got married in the tracksuit. So I was like, I'll hold this off.
I got a bone to pick there. I was like, I didn't know we could like bring tracksuits.
Tracksuits?
I would have totally done that.
Did you check the frequently asked questions in the invite for the wedding?
So Kristen told me about this, that you're referenced in her frequently asked questions.
Like 3 times. Because it simply started with me asking Gavin, would it be okay if I wore an American flag suit to the wedding?
First of all, let me say on their behalf, what's wrong with you?
What?
What are you going to wear an American flag suit to
It's
their
an
wedding?
election year. I'm patriotic. I'm here to represent the country in case people don't know I'm American.
What are you going to like come to the UK and just throw it in their face? Look what you guys lost.
Yeah.
Like you're like the bad ex.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's always constantly chanting USA, USA, and then I get the rest of the crowd to join me. No, so anyways, I did that, and then Gav said, I'd be pleased. I'd be, that would make me laugh so hard. That'd be hilarious. Meg might hate you. Meg might like uninvite you to the wedding.
Yeah.
And then,
at least I got to say, I got to give you credit.
Yeah.
You didn't write her to ask her because everybody asked the bride this, that, where's this? What time is this? Whatever. It's like, leave the bride alone, man. Leave her alone.
No, and I trust Gav is a solid enough partner to Meg that he would have been able to field that question and, filter it for her. But I guess he had brought it up to her because then in the frequently asked questions thing, it was like, what can I wear? All this stuff. And it was like, no hats. You can't wear an Uncle Sam hat. And then it was like quotation marks, Blaine. And then it was like suits. You can wear a suit of any color, just no American flag suits, Blaine. I was like, whoa. And so I had like 8 people come up to me in the wedding. You're like, you're the guy that wanted to. And I was like, yeah, what's the.
Yeah,
what?
I'm the problem.
Yeah, it's me.
And they're
Taylor.
like, dude, why are you in the bathroom again?
Just hanging out, you know?
So I actually, believe it or not, up here where I live, it's actually harder to rent a tuxedo than it is to rent a kilt. That's what they rent up here for formal events. It is the formal Scottish event garb.
Yeah,
It's
could
what
rock
you
a
wear.
kilt, yeah.
And so Meg put out this update where she said, ladies, if you want to wear a fascinator, which we should talk about these things in a second. I keep saying we're going to talk about it. That would be great. And so please wear a fascinator. She's all about it. And I thought, it would be easier on me to rent a kilt anyway. So let me just ask her. I said, I shouldn't text her like 2 weeks before the wedding anyway, but I did. And I said, hey, I'm just asking you because I don't want to do anything that you wouldn't want. Would you like me to wear like formal Scottish regalia? Like not like anything big, but like just formal Scottish wedding attire
Right.
at your wedding. Would you like that?
Yeah.
And she replied back, she goes, I think you would look incredible in a suit. And I said, got it. I got you.
Loud and
Enough
clear.
said.
Heard.
Enough said.
The phrasing of that is perfect too. She let you down real gentle.
Just incredibly diplomatic. There's no follow-up. I was like, picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yep. Heard.
So these fascinators, the ladies had their hats, kind of.
They're like Kentucky Derby looking things.
It's like it's like condensed. Like they got all the full hat regalia, but they mushed it. Like it's down condensed and like, it's like 100% of the hat in like 25% of the volume.
Yes.
And then they'd like stick it on the side of their head, but then it's like all ostentatious. It's like somebody like hit a peacock with a shrink ray.
Yeah.
kind of
What are
thing.
those things called? The something shuttlecock? Those are the balls.
You mean for the badminton?
Is that what it's called?
I wouldn't be. Yeah, it's called the shuttlecock.
Yeah. It's like one of those and it's canted to the side and then it's off. And I like symmetry, so I wouldn't have been able to pull it off.
And everybody,
You know.
everybody looked fantastic.
No, they really did.
Everybody looked fantastic. And Jeff's wife, Emily, had one of those. It was amazing. Ashley had one. Incredible. Like, we were going through, like, what's the appropriate size? I kind of wish I told her to go bigger, to be honest, after the fact.
Go big or go home.
Becca had one on. It was incredible because we flew down the day before the wedding from here. Of all the check bags on the entire flight, they lost Becca's bag. And she had everything she needed for both her and her husband in her bag.
Yep.
They had to pivot that morning and figure out what to do. And of course, they're both gorgeous. So they were able to put together just instantly an outfit that blew everything away.
Yeah, I walked up to them because I'd heard the story that they'd lost it the day previous, and I was like, "Oh, you found it? You got it back?" And they're like, "Nope, off the shelf." And I was like, "You wouldn't have known otherwise."
Just walked out that morning, had like an hour and a half to put something together. And it looked like they were wearing tailored stuff they'd had their whole life.
Yeah, no.
I gotta get one of these hats though.
I gotta get on the Fascinator game. But this has been such an awesome time. Like, there's such a huge group of old RT people out here, and like we had like a few of them staying at our hotel, and found a gym. Obviously, great gym, best hotel gym by far. They had a squat rack. When was the last time you went to a hotel that had a squat rack?
I think it's like a liability thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be.
Well, they had one, and they had a bunch of machines. So I've been having a blast. I am the best version of myself when I'm on vacation. Swimming is huge in England, and I went and bought goggles in a swimsuit so that I could go swimming with like the locals because they had like a lap pool. And
You weren't in the river Tame, like swimming around or anything.
Chocolate
like that?
Milk River? No, that thing is horrifying. We got to walk it the other day, but yeah, no, that's like years and years of waste and who knows what.
Yeah, well, when you're in a city that predates indoor plumbing,
Yeah.
watch out. Also, kind of one of those things that all that water's long gone, but it's just the memory of it. Somehow sticks around. I'm not sure.
It's an amazing country. Everything here, I mean, there's like a McDonald's that's older than the United States.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's just wild,
That's a
dude.
thing. Yeah,
It
the
is
house
wild.
I live in now is like older than the United States. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
And somebody would have had, at some point, somebody had to maybe add indoor plumbing, but definitely somebody had to add electricity. Cars were invented. You know, they had to figure out what to do with cars in this place. And I think our contribution to that has been data. Like we're
Wi-Fi.
like there's parts of this place that they just have never had. Like I got a signal and I said, there's 200 megabits of Wi-Fi right here. I know that's the first time in history that's ever taken place.
Yeah, no, we were like streaming stuff up in our room and stuff like that. Can I talk about the ghost real quick?
Go ahead.
Can I reference the ghost? You mentioned that there's a lady that, can I get into specifics? It was like a lady in white or something
Yes.
like that. And she'll like...
She had a tracksuit on. It was amazing.
She'll roam around. Not the best story to know about when you wake up in the middle of the night, you go to the bathroom, and your girlfriend has hung her floor-length white jacket in the corner.
Sorry about that.
Oh, horrifying.
Yep.
I woke up and I was like, I didn't know what to do, but I got to go to the bathroom though.
So the legend goes, and it's a positive one. Like anyone who's ever been here says they don't have any negative energy feelings.
No, it's good vibes. Yeah.
You know, and I don't think of myself as a person who's in tune with that stuff, but I also feel that same way. I don't get like any chills or anything. But supposedly, she lived here when there was a fire at the house. Wasn't killed in the fire, but that whenever there's a fire set that is not then tended to, or later that evening, if it's dying down kind of a thing, she will then be seen walking the hallways because she's concerned about the fire. So it's like a safeguard, like a nice guardian spirit, if you will.
Didn't Ashley call it the OSHA ghost or something, which I thought was an amazing way of calling it?
Well, Ashley can say that. I want to sleep tonight, so I'm not going to cast any aspersions on the lady in white.
I mean, as far as like having ghosts occupying your house, that would probably be the one you'd want. You know,
Yeah.
like you could get a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
So
Did I do? I think I did to you, but you didn't pick it up till later. When we were at the wedding, the table was so long. I was doing this thing where I would send to people on text. I would send them the image from Always Sunny of Charlie and Mac like finding each other in the restaurant, looking at each other, like locking eyes,
the intense eye contact, with necks erect, like looking
through the crowd at each other.
Yeah.
And then I would send people the photo, and then I would see them look down at their phone. And when they looked down at their phone, I would look at them like that, and they'd look up at me, and I'd be staring at them. I think Mike Jones would have gotten a photo of me doing that. I was all the way across that table from him. And it's just my eyes and me looking at him.
I hope that the way that they sat us isn't like a hierarchy thing, because
don't think about that. That's not at all. I mean, it is, but it's not.
well,
You know,
I mean,
you
Eric
can't-
Baddour was right in front of him, so I can only imagine that that's like a court gesture type thing.
Can
Like,
I say him? Baddour?
what's up?
Fucking killed it on the dance floor.
Everyone.
Dude, killed it on. I mean, everybody was great. It was a good time. He killed it on the dance floor.
Yeah, no, he would even do this thing where he would like, if the DJ wasn't playing something adequate to him, he would be like, "There's better Madonna songs," and then he starts screaming all the Madonna songs. But no, he really brought the energy. I think like DJs should hire him just to come to their wedding with him, because he'll just
He's like a built-in hype man.
get things going. Yeah,
Just a lovely evening. Lovely evening.
it really was good people, good vibes, good food, good bathrooms, no American flag suits.
Stop.
But yeah,
Wonderful food. We had beef Wellington for dinner.
that's my first time having beef welly.
Lovely cake. I had a thing. You know JD and Teddy really well.
Yes.
I had a thing that before they left home, they had to be able to cook at least 5 dishes for themselves, because I wanted them to be able to cook and like sustain themselves as young adults.
Smart.
And JD's is stuff like he can make kolaches, which is his most fancy thing, but like stir fried chicken and stuff like that. He's actually, I don't know if I should say this, at university, he's in the boxing club and he's in the baking club. And I'm like, you picked like the farthest apart things that I can imagine to be involved in extracurricular activities.
Your sons are so cool. Like, I'm just so like, and I haven't seen them in a minute, so I know that they're probably like, especially if he's in boxing club, he's gonna look like a beast.
What's that?
He's got the Bernie genetics. He's gonna be big.
When he got his like most like ripped,
Yeah.
you know, not that he's not now. I wouldn't want to. This is my son I'm talking about.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to say he's not at his peak, but he spent a summer chopping wood.
Yeah.
You saw the amount of wood that he chopped. I showed it to you because we store it in like this woodshed.
Dude.
It's been this ongoing project I've talked about.
Deforestation.
No,
Watch out.
hey, listen,
No.
you put that on. How dare you? It's a management. But yeah, we had to chop down some holly, which actually turns out to be really tough wood. And maybe we'll make the thumbnail of this one. We'll make it the wood pile. Although we should maybe make it. I mean, if there's pictures of Meg in her dress, we should probably do that. Although I don't want to make it like. I don't want to feel like I'm the one talking about it.
Exploitative
Yeah,
or-
exactly.
yeah.
You always got to be careful about that.
We
So-
can put Meg in the tracksuit and then me chopping wood. Those would be the. 'Cause
There we
what-
go.
What was the one thing that I asked when I was like, "Hey, what do you want to do when you come over to the
Blaine
place?"
is here to chop wood.
Here, chop wood.
And then we added we're gonna go skeet shooting, but the weather killed us today.
Yeah, Becca took it with her.
But you're traveling tomorrow, and there is time for us to go skeet shooting. But then I realized you would be covered in gunpowder when you go to the airport. And that would be like, they'd swab you or whatever. And that's the time when they're like, sir, you're going to prison now.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
No, unless we have like I've only had some like a cover suit that I can put on over it. But
yeah, that'll be better. Yeah. You come in a coverall that you whip off that's covered in gunpowder.
Yeah, it's an American flag.
that'll make you can wear your fascinator, like your little your concentrated hat. Yeah, that you bring in. You could be like, look at you can distract them with the fascination. All right, well, Blaine, if people want to keep up with you and they're not going to be attending random weddings, how would they reach you?
Perfect. You should ask me this. Stinky Dragon, Tales from the Stinky Dragon. Boom. That's a tax write-off right there. So I can say this whole trip. Don't even have to worry about it anymore. No, yeah, Tales from the Stinky Dragon. We're a Dungeons and Dragons actual play show. We kind of treat it like a radio play. We got like music and sound effects and voice casts and stuff like that. And it's me and probably a bunch of people you might recognize if you're a Rooster Teeth fan. We got Gus Sorolla, Barbara Dunkelman, John Reisinger, Chris Damaris. And then Ben and Mike are also our crew.
You also have, too, now that you're out from under Warner Brothers, you guys have your puppet show that you made with it as well. Where can people watch the puppet show now? Because it used to be behind the first paywall.
Yeah, Stinky Dragon Adventures, I believe. I'm terrible at this. God, I'm terrible. Patreon, I'm pretty sure we have it on our Patreon.
But if they can see it anywhere, that's where they'd be able to go see it.
That would be the most. That would be the best place for them to watch it for us. I think eventually, maybe we'll be on Beacon with that. Beacon being Critical Role's like streaming platform.
Okay, we're coming to the end here, but let's talk about that for a second. So you guys got essentially you are working with Critical Role, but you're still completely independent, but it's like they're one of the places where you can now see Stinky Dragon or experience it is on also the Critical Role platform, right?
Yes, the best place if you want to support the show is our Patreon by far, but Beacon is going to be another place where people can find us. So if you're like a Critical Role fan and you want to check us out, we're there. We're going to be there, I think, September 30th with Campaign 3. The best way to describe it is like if David and Goliath became total bros and Goliath was like Travis Willingham and was totally chill. That's kind of the relationship. Like they are huge. They're the biggest D&D entity, and they like spotted us. I think it was the puppets. Like Travis was watching our puppet videos and he was like, we got to get these guys. And now we're under them a little bit. You know, we're buddies.
And also like too, it's like Barb, we talked about it before. She's gone everywhere over the years. Like she was almost kind of like this unofficial ambassador. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it's really incredible that you've got her on the team and the connections, or the people that she knows. Connections is like such a weird word. But just like all the people she knows, and like through her, people that want to work with you guys, and it's always been great. Like even when we would have people come visit the Rooster Teeth studios and do like the podcast and stuff, I feel like they always connected with Barb, and Barb would like work with people later. Oh, yeah. She's always been fantastic.
Got to record with like Troy Baker one time because of a barber connection. She is the best front man you could ask for. I mean, just perfect. And she was a huge part of that made this whole thing, because as soon as the Rooster Teeth stuff happened, they were immediately reaching out and they're like, hey, what's this Dungeons and Dragons show that you guys got going on? I'm super looking forward. Future's bright with Stinky Dragon. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll get a season 2 of Stinky Dragon Adventures, our little puppet show. Yeah, but it's all these decisions now you have to make yourself, which is both freeing and frightening as hell, I'm sure. Yeah. It's I'm like 1/7 of business owner. We haven't done titles yet, but I want to do goofy titles, because that was something you guys did at Rooster Teeth, right? Yeah, I don't know if I do that now. No, I mean, in hindsight, you know what I mean? Because then you got to. Then it depends on what your plans are long term, because then you're gonna find a way to transition away from it. Okay. And then when you make the transition, then people are like, "Why are you moving away from that?" Like, it's a thing that I always said about the internet. You probably heard me say this 1,000 times at Rooster Teeth. Is that the internet demands progress, but the internet hates change. And so you have to make progress. People want you to make progress, because if you don't make progress, then you become old and stale, or you're of a different time. Yeah. Well, I don't want to be like chief creative officer. I'm like chief muscle guy. I want to be a goof, like. Just be security. That's a title. Security? There you go. Big boy. Chief big guy. But then they've got to call you when anything goes wrong. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's good times though. It's weird. I never thought I'd be a business owner in my life. And then what about social? If I want to keep up with you in particular on social, where do I go? Do I go to Instagram? Do I go to X? I'm not on X. I lost my password, so I don't know how to get back on. But what a shame. Yeah. Instagram, though, _Blaine. That's the one. Yeah. You can find me on there.
But you can definitely find Blaine on the Stinky Dragon podcast.
I prefer if you would.
If I'm going to go, besides Patreon, if I'm going to go to like a public platform to watch it, what's the one to go to?
I think Spotify.
Spotify's where you want. Yeah,
it's a good bet.
Check it out on Spotify, the Stinky Dragon podcast. You can start at season 1, episode 1, and just binge it from there. All right, Blaine, thanks for joining me. Blaine might actually be back tomorrow to record with Ashley, should time depend.
Yeah.
So today we're going to leave you with visitors. Nick Saldana did an interview with him where we talked about what it was like to grow up in a musical family. That's on our Patreon right now if you want to check that out. And all this week, we're going to be playing music from the Saldana family. This is Visitors from their album Secrets. This is Tonight. All right, we will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you all will be here as well.
Doubt in your mind, I'm ready.